Hey guys, Jim here with Creative Play and Podcast Network, and here we are again in August. It is now hashtag RPGaDay again for its 8th year. God, it's been so long. Again, we're joining in with all the other tabletop gamers out there to get creative and use the prompts now for RPGaDay 2021 to inspire you guys to all write, vlog, blog, draw cool pictures. This year they're asking for whatever you do, do. So we are going to go ahead and start out with the next day. All right, guys, here we go.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, assigned to Ragnarok Story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Creative Play and Podcast Network. Jim here.
And Kelly.
And it is hashtag RPGaDay 2021 August the 19th, and the word is theme. Or you could even say the theme of the night is theme.
Well, let's see. I'm going to roll.
Followed by Storm, Style, and Patron. Patrons is always...
Actually, I got Patron.
Ooh. It's kind of appropriate since I just had you get onto our Patreon site and vote for the new upcoming Friday night Twitch game.
That's true, and I voted, and I put in my own suggestion for a game I would like to play.
Oh no! So that means the theme you picked was other, and then you suggested it in the comments?
Correct.
Did you vote for one of the ones that were in the top 3?
I did vote for one of those, but I voted for on my write-in ballot was Dresden Files. Ironically enough, there's lots of themes in that.
Dresden Files is a good one. I mean, even if you do the quick and dirty Fate version of Fate Accelerated, they've got Dresden Accelerated, which is basically Fate Light. It's Fate with even less rules. So that's an interesting one. I don't think you've played any accelerated Fate games.
No, I don't believe I have.
But that's the newest quick and dirty version of Fate they came out with. Even though the one thing I do love with those guys at Evil Hat is you can get the rules for free, which is awesome. Because it is super cool when game companies are just like, here's a PDF because we like you. Of course, then again, that company has the theme of customer appreciation because whenever you buy a book from a brick and mortar store, you can go to their website and get the PDF for free.
See, that's nice.
That's super cool. And it's a good theme to support your local brick and mortar.
To patronize,
Mm-hmm.
patronize their products.
Yes, I always make sure to go out of my way to pick up a new copy of any of the Fate books when they come out with the new one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a patron of Evil Hat on Patreon, they release theme books like every 30 days.
Ooh. Well, I also very much enjoy it. Didn't they also do the cats?
Mm-hmm. The Secret of Cats. That was actually one of the Patreon releases because it was like a little 60-page booklet that once the patrons voted on it and it became a game and it got play tested and they then have it for print.
That was a cute game. I liked that one.
Yeah, playing sentient cat, in a world full of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Where the theme is cats are magical and their burdens don't realize it.
Well, it's based off of a poem too.
Mm-hmm.
Is it T.S. Eliot?
Mm-hmm.
Each cat has 3 names. I still remember mine.
And the fact that one of your themes is your burden, the human who you have to take care of and protect.
Exactly.
It's a
So
fun
then you
system.
have your kitten name, you have your true name, I think
Mm-hmm.
it was, and then you have the name your burden gives you,
Yes.
your everyday name or something.
Yes, but don't give away your true name because it's magically powerful. It's like Barrelhawk.
Oh,
But that's just a good example.
read the books, so I know that they're well loved. I just, the movie that I saw was just terrible. But okay.
Oh, couldn't be. It wasn't that bad.
No, I've seen worse. But don't get me wrong, I actually like B films, so.
Mm-hmm. So, what are you gonna go for patron? As I've spattered a bunch of stuff.
I've already been mentioning patronizing and stuff, but actually an interesting impetus in a game or that type of thing is when your player characters have a patron um, in the game, actually an NPC. Um, that can be very interesting. Like for example, remember Val?
Mm-hmm.
Um, his name escapes me. I think it was Esteban,
Ah,
uh,
Esteban.
who was her patron.
Mm-hmm.
We had done work in general for him, but Val in particular, she was he's her patron specifically, so she'll do side jobs for him.
Mm-hmm.
On
I can totally reveal that Esteban was the Xanatos to the group's gargoyles. He was the businessman who was letting the group do what they do best, and just happened to be doing things that tilted in his favor too.
Mm-hmm. And I think wasn't he, though, you alluded to the fact that he actually was working for the Titans.
Or, well, I alluded to the fact that he is committing human sacrifice.
Yeah, okay, well, that's because of the.
So it could be he was working with the Titans, or their goals and his aligned temporarily, so he went with it.
He was of the Aztec pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, blood magic is like hugely.
And why sacrifice yours when you can sacrifice someone else? I mean, that's just good business.
Unless you get, weird guilds and you're not allowed to kill anybody for a year. That was rough.
In which case, that's just bad business there.
It was a long year for that character.
That was a long year. Good thing it was only like 4 sessions.
But then I wrote a bunch of stories too,
Mm-hmm.
because not only did she have the weird guilt for um, uh, the Japanese god, where she wasn't allowed to kill anything for a year. For Freya, she had the weird guilt that she could not dance.
Ooh, that was hard.
Which was really hard for her. And then the other weird guilt was for Isis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just had to do some bitch work for her.
Mm-hmm. You just had to take place of her priestess until
I bequeath her science necklace to another of her children.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that's 2 separate stories that you got out of that. Her
Mm-hmm.
her weird guilt.
I got my money's worth out of those mergers. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, she was very upset at the time. You take a hero and then you suddenly give them all god powers, full on, after a really rough night. Yeah, so she took some divine retribution.
The theme of that session was absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I just had to sit back and let it
That
happen.
was against the rules.
You know, Scion gets godlike power and goes around murdering other gods' children. Why would that be against the rules?
Except for the fact that they all tried to kill me.
Yeah, but that's when it was a fair fight.
A fair fight.
Do you think gods are allowed to go around smiting other Scions? Where would the fun in that be?
Well, and of course that's why she wasn't killed outright.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had to pay the weird guilt to the
Yep.
people that I killed.
And the theme of Guild is a great one that goes back through Norse history of there's a murder and someone demands retribution. Because of course back in the olden times of the Vikings, if you killed someone's provider, just killing you isn't going to get them anywhere. A Guild is a nice bribe / payoff / reward money for being victimized by having someone murder your family member.
Yeah. So there's that. Hey, and kind of he was literally I just like put him out of his misery.
After you did many, many horrible things.
No. I caught up to him after many horrible things had been done to him. You forget, I was blinded in that fight at the get-go. I wasn't doing anything. The only thing I could do was a friggin' battle cry to try and boost my companions while I'm trying to find the wall and get my back to the wall. And then all of a sudden, I'm like grappled by, shadow monsters and thrown out of a window 40 feet, 40
stories up.
40 stories up. I just happened to, have that one item of clothing on at the time when the moonlight hit me, and bam!
The raven wings that let you take your parents' power. All you have to do is put them on and spend a single point of legend while under a full moon.
Yeah, and since I was kind of seriously injured at that point in time, I was trying to heal myself. And I remember specifically you're going, and you're going to spend a point of legend for that, right? I'm like, hell yeah, I need friggin', and then bam.
I was totally baiting somebody to do it.
I kind of needed to, otherwise, things would have ended badly for me. I mean, I had cat's grace, so I wasn't too worried about, but still.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's why it was great that it worked out as intended. That was one of those. That's the whole point of giving your players something powerful, is you want them to use it, as opposed to when you accidentally give them something of awe power and you're just like, oh shit, please don't use this. The theme for GMs there is if you're gonna bring a powerful item into play, the players will get their hands on it. So make sure that if you're throwing it out there, it's part of the theme that eventually they will get to play with those wonderful toys. It's not just for Batman.
Come ruin a rapture.
And sometimes it's good giving your players that thing that they shouldn't be playing with, and that everyone will come along and spank them for using because they have. Usually it's the jealous folks that wish they haven't, but sometimes it can be the folks wanting to keep the power balance, as in players don't get to have any power, and that's the balance. So themes is one of those things that I personally as a GM like to play around with, like story arcs that I do. Each story arc has a theme and we kind of roll with it. Like Scion's a fun one for themes because since you're pulling myths and legends, City of Myths is another good one since you have myth and legends that you're playing with in the game that you can totally run with themes you can pick a certain myth and that's the theme you're going with. Like when we did since you're bringing up Scion, we did the cruise down to Budapest.
Oh yeah.
That theme was literally a Viking cruise, river cruise theme that I picked out of a travel brochure. When I gave you guys the tickets at Carrie's wedding for her character, I literally just looked up Viking River cruise through Europe, and the one to Budapest came up, and all these great classic locations get stopped at. And I'm just like, oh yeah, we're totally using that. And each stop is going to have its own theme, which worked out really nice.
Well, and speaking of themes and RPGs, murder mysteries.
Oh.
Love a good theme party.
Much like you'll be hosting not this weekend, but next weekend. It's totally a role playing.
It's LARP light.
Oh, are you willing to concede that it is a LARP?
I am willing to concede it's LARPish.
Just because it's live action and a role play.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing like better than doing a planning event with a theme.
Mm-hmm. And
Yep. Next week, murder mystery.
Yep.
In the theme.
It'll be fun to see who solves the murder mystery first.
Exactly, and we're gonna have lots of other games too.
Mm-hmm. Of course, speaking of weekends, this Saturday in a couple days at Tucson Games and Gadgets in the Tucson Mall is going to be the steampunk themed gathering. So get your goggles and gears and go play some RPGs. I'll be running Iron Kingdoms 5th Edition Requiem, and then later running Eberron, because Eberron is totally the steampunk of D&D. And Iron Kingdoms, you can have pistols and steam-powered robots.
And there's going to be a costume contest.
And yep, at 2 o'clock, I've discovered the time for the costume contest is at 2 o'clock. Conveniently right when the RPGs will be ending.
Awesome.
So it's almost like our host is timing these things nicely. So you can go from gaming to participate or watch the costume contest. So that should definitely be fun. Or judge it. If you happen to be judging the costume contest, do you know anyone judging the costume contest?
I will be one of the judges.
And our friend Zoe as well.
Yes.
You need to get back with Zoe how dressed up she should be.
That's true. I've got to go through my closet tomorrow.
Because she wants to be as dressed up as you and not more so or less so.
Yes, well, I don't do steampunk light yet, so it's going to be full on.
I advised her I'll probably be steampunk light in a kilt since I'm GMing.
Yeah.
But definitely check out the Tucson Games and Gadgets Facebook page. They'll be posting on the pictures of the event. I'm not sure who is in charge of taking pictures, but I'm sure somebody is. It's not me. That's all that matters. I'll be running some games. So, anything else you want to throw up for patron or theme?
No. But hopefully I'll be dressed in style this week.
I will throw out for you D&D fans out there, if you like the theme of having a group patron, in Tasha's, the newest D&D book, they actually have a nice section in there for different types of patrons and different type of adventures they would send players on if you had a patron. Because it is nice giving your group someone who basically will take charge and tell them what to do and shake their finger at them when they do it poorly.
Yep.
Especially when bills start showing up. Especially if you want to give your players something cool like either a ship or an airship or magical teleportation to go around the world to do things quicker. Patrons are good for that. Or one of my favorites is if you can have a retired player being a patron. That's always fun.
Take an arrow in the and then head to retire.
Mm-hmm. Or like the
Storm. I recommend the Tempest Clerics.
Ooh, yeah.
Or if you like storms, man, Tempest Clerics. They got some chops, man.
Yeah, you can definitely make a Thor-like character that at first level can insta-kill something that hits them with the reaction ability. I'm a huge fan of the Tempest Cleric because they do tons of damage.
I like Tempest, or I have a life, of course, because if you want lots more heals. I've played even an artisan one.
Mm-hmm.
Try to vary up but those are good ones.
Yeah, I've yet to find any of the clerics that don't do well, except I know knowledge and trickery are like the least used ones.
Well, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Knowledge is good if you want to be a know-it-all, and trickster is good if you want to be thief light.
Well, I had a cleric who was an arcane.
Mm-hmm.
She was an elf, half elf.
Master of the arcane arts. So the general story there is just make sure you have a good theme for your character. Because I'm sorry, a curmudgeon-y alcoholic dwarf that acts like Thor would just be fun, I'm just saying. And the fact that you can burn your divine uses to make the lightning spell just do max damage. You just say, I'm jacking stuff up and just doing max damage. In our Thursday night unstreamed game, our one cleric is a Tempest cleric, and he likes clearing the decks of ships with his lightning storm. Because there's something nice about doing a big area effect and saying max damage. Because all of a sudden you literally just cleared the deck, and if you didn't clear the deck, you put a hole through the deck.
We've done that.
Yes. The High Seas Shenanigans cleric has done the same thing.
A Tempest cleric and a druid.
Ooh, nature.
And I'll have some of the similar spells.
Mm-hmm.
And hitting some of those. Yeah, we put a whole big hole in that one ship.
Things were never the same.
Yeah, but we got him.
Okay, so since we've stormed in style and talked about the theme of patrons, that's probably a good time to wrap it up for August the 19th. Alrighty, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll be back Friday. We'll do a podcast episode probably with me and Kelly, and then later on that night, around 8 o'clock, we'll be streaming our Genesis game for Realms of Terranoth, which will be interesting because the group will be infiltrating that Bandit Queen's party.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is, you big damn heroes now are known for being a bunch of bushwhacking bandits because the boy's going to tell everybody about your exploits.
Yeah. You're so not hero.
But if you get a chance, we do still have one more day on Patreon to vote for the fall-winter Genesis game that we will be playing. And it looks like Kelly was saying, is Android Shadow the Beanstalk is the contender right now. But everything else is only like one vote behind, right?
I'm not sure on that, but everybody vote for Dresden Files. Go ahead, comment Dresden Files. Okay. The spring-summer game, I will open it up to be not just Genesis. It's just that the guys all like Genesis, so that's why we picked with Genesis on the theme. That's why it's all Genesis settings. I still hope salvage happens because I want to see you guys being space apocalyptic survivors. But it looks like it's not going to happen. But still, we can have fun with whatever gets picked. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening and have a great night. Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.